Brandon, did you watch Fedor ride off into the sunset?
I did watch that one.
Yeah. What'd you think about that fight?
Um, that was, you could tell he was just trying to hit that overhand right. Like, he's like, I'm going to hit him with this, and if not, then all right. So
That's what it is. Came out
it's pretty,
either be the hammer or be the nail.
It's a crazy thing for me watching Bellator because they take themselves seriously, and I don't think any. So they're just like, oh man, all the pomp and circumstance, and then it's Carrot Top has joined us, and it's just like what? Like there's like these like halfway celebrities. It's just perfect Bellator shit. You know what I mean? There's like halfway celebrities there. It's like Fat Chuck Liddell's there. Randy Couture wearing the paper boy hat. It's like, dang, this is weird.
I used to stand for, I used to stand for Mauro Ranallo on commentary back in the day.
I used to love him. He was my favorite.
Yeah, but he's long past his expiration date, man.
Dude.
The puns and everything are just like, oh,
yeah,
dude.
He's reaching.
It's
like
rough.
that. What is that? There's like the kids watch it nowadays. It's like on YouTube or whatever. It's like Backroom.
Oh, the back rooms.
Yeah, it's like Sonic's in the back room, and he's like, "Where the fuck am I?" And like, there's like demons like running behind him, and everything. Just like it's just impending doom, dude. It's like watching Backrooms. It's MMA Backrooms, dude.
You just compare Bellator to the back rooms. Yeah, it's just kind of like a bizarro wasteland, like all the afterbirth of the UFC, and
like I watched the Tatsuro Taira fight, and then I switched it right back over, and there was some pretty crazy knockouts.
Yeah,
you know, so it wasn't like a terrible waste of time, but it just didn't feel right. I can't even explain it. Maybe I'm just because I am a hater. Like grade A1 hater. So like if I can hate on something, I will. So I was just like, oh, this is weird, you know?
Yeah. But I would say between the two cards from this past Saturday, you can kind of whittle down like one decent card if you kind of like picked and choose from the different fights from both cards. Yeah, they kind of combine to make at least one semi-decent card, but everything at the top of the cards didn't deliver at all though, because the Fedor Ryan Bader fight, it was what we expected. Like that fight was never gonna last very long. I thought it was pretty touching how they brought all the legends into the cage. Like it looked like.
Have you seen Mark Coleman's daughter?
I have not. No.
Mackenzie Coleman.
Mackenzie Coleman.
She's like a solid Ohio 9, dude.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
I'll have
check her out.
I'll have to refer to the key, the scoring key, to see how that translates.
Ohio 9, Mackenzie Coleman.
So I thought that went over relatively well. I thought it was a good kind of like I like that Bellator, despite like how you said like they take themselves serious and it's weird because of it. I think this is one instance where it's like they didn't take themselves too serious in all the right ways, and it's like because I think like somebody had to get in touch with all of those people and make that happen, and so I like that they went the extra mile to do that, because without it, it kind of just would have been real.
I don't know. You and I have had success like messaging MMA fighters on Instagram, and they like are more than willing to talk back to us. So I thought it was maybe because they're just so old.
I think it's just the logistics of getting them all in the cage in the same building at one time, just for Fedor, just for a photo op, basically.
Yeah, that's pretty much all it was.
Yeah.
They like shared a nice moment at Cheesecake Factory after.
What about and here's the result from the top of the UFC card where I'm gonna have to eat some serious crow, because I picked Derek Lewis in this fight, and that was a mistake, dude. Derek Lewis washed.
I think it's just his mind. It's just one guy legit thinks he has a shot and wants to win a title, and one guy doesn't. And when you're fighting, I think if you're not, like, if you were to take a plus athlete like a say Cyril Gahn had the mindset that Derek Lewis had, he would still probably do pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
But you have Cyril Gahn who has the mindset of wanting to win a title, and then you kind of get a guy almost pretty close to winning a title or
Mm-hmm.
has a good shot at it.
That's
I
it.
think, and you get a guy like Spivak who isn't a plus athlete, isn't, but he just knows what he can do. He's self aware and he wants to win. And he's going in there to win. He's not going in there to not get embarrassed, So
Yeah, Sergey Spivak definitely knew the assignment on Saturday. Didn't let Derek Lewis. He didn't relent at all. Like Derek, it was just a tough look because no matter what, Derek Lewis was able to get up to his feet, and then he just got dumped right back down. So it must have been a super super discouraging fight. And that didn't make it out of the first round, did it? That was the first round
no,
finished. Yeah.
yeah,
So tough look for Derek Lewis now. He drops 3 in a row. I definitely think that, I mean, obviously, I don't really think this is actually going to hurt his promotional stock very much. Like, people still love Derek Lewis. People will still be tuning in for Derek Lewis fights. You can't book that guy against, for one, keep him off of main cards. Let's put him on the undercard for a little while. And also, no more booking him against Sergey's, man. Like,
yeah.
give the dude a break. Funny enough, I was thinking just a little earlier before we got back on here. With the benefit of hindsight, of course, I think it would have been a much more entertaining fight or weekend in general if we can pick and choose and actually just have Derek Lewis fight Fedor. Like, that would have been a way better fight.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh fuck!
Would you look at that?
Yeah. Damn.
Did you get a chance? I didn't get to see a whole lot of the Road to UFC card. I'm sad that I missed the Tatsuro Taira fight, and haven't been able to find it online, so I still haven't seen that fight.
Man, the guy he was fighting, not a world beater, but how he just dominates people is very crazy. Like, if you watch, I think they should really put a lot of eggs in his basket because he's so strong and he's such a good grappler, which is he's just a great grappler. And the gentleman he fought was supposedly a good Brazilian jiu-jitsu practitioner, and he had him in a guillotine, and that was like the guy's like signature move. Had him down, and he didn't panic. You just saw him kind of like, they didn't show too much of his face because his head was down, but like they did show it, and he just was like, okay, and he just like kind of moved to the side, swept, and then he's on top of the dude in mount and just beating the shit out of him, and then the way he just goes, okay, I want this arm, put this arm, no, this arm here, and like he's like, look at the guy, this arm here, and that arm here, like like when it's like when I changed my son in the morning, it looked like I was changing my son for school, and he just didn't want to get ready. And I was putting his shirt on. I'm like, dude, give me your arm. And it was like, okay, now stop fucking around. And then he just out. It's pretty crazy. Between him and Makhachev, they've got some, and he's so huge for that division. He's fucking huge. He had, what did he, man, he had something like, he had a crazy reach advantage on this guy.
I'll see if I can pull it up. I have his little profile here. He has a 70-inch reach, does Tatsuro Taira, and Jesus Aguilar has a 62.5-inch reach. So
a 7-inch. I think it was the craziest disparity.
Dang, holy crap.
Yeah. And then you saw it. He just walked in there, and he's like, oh, hi. And then the guy's like, what the fuck is this? It was son, like, that you're my son now.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was the first. I just don't understand how that was the curtain jerker.
Yeah, that confused me too, especially with the amount of guys who were like making their promotional debut on this card because it's regional. Well, it's funny to say regional talent because these fights happened in Las Vegas, but
some of these guys are the biggest guys in their country, and it's like these fucking guys, and they're like the biggest prospects in their entire fucking country. Like they fucking shit on one. They're like, no, I'm gonna go fight in UFC. Like they could be like big stars in one, but they're like, I'll go fight in UFC. But
yeah, I saw. Speaking to that, I saw the Indian guy who made his debut and got. It was the first Indian born fighter to get a win in the UFC. Anshul Jubli.
Yeah, I saw him.
That guy looked pretty good. It's just kind of tough, to call these road fights because I'm not familiar with any of them.
So I was watching one, right? Well, and then but to go back to the Tyra fight, I was cooking. And I was like having to switch back, and I go, did Dana put the Tyra fight on to like fuck over Bellator? Because it's like a guy like me, I was like, well, I'd like to watch Fedor, but I'm not gonna miss
the point. Yeah.
But like then I was like, no one cares like that much, like I do, or like I'm sure there was a couple of guys who were like, that's kind of a fucked up because I missed the co-main, which was a good fight for Bellator. Mm-hmm. It was a good fight, but I missed that one to watch the Tyra fight. Yeah. But I ended up being able to catch the Fedor fight.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, it was a quick fight for Taira. Looking at the results here, he got it done in one. And that Johnny Eblen fight, I was watching the fights with Mike, and he was rushing to go like give his kid a bath, and I was like, it's a 5-round co-main, man. You're good. Yeah. I don't think you got to worry about this Johnny Eblen fight. Good fight. Johnny Eblen did well. He cemented himself as, I would say, undeniably like a top 7, probably easily top 7, but likely top 5 middleweight in the world. It's just that pool of middleweights for him to fight over there is going to start to dry up, So, but he looked great. I'd be so down to watch him fight a lot of the guys in the UFC.
Oh yeah, really good skill, all around skill, which was very. Yeah. It was good to see. I like seeing fights like that. To go back to the UFC card, like on the one guy that I think his name is Inya Nakamura. He's a Japanese wrestler. Mm-hmm. Fucking looks so clean, and I was like, "Whoa, who the fuck?" So I guess he's like a fucking top-notch wrestler, and his fucking knockout of this cat was just clean. And I was like, dang, you would have thought he's a boxer. They're like, no, he's a world-class wrestler. Like, he's just fallen in love with his hands. So I go back and watch his highlights, and I'm like, this guy is a fucking animal. So like,
I'm looking at his record right now.
This gentleman, dude, this guy is not a joke. I just went on a crazy old rabbit hole, just like watching his splash reel on like YouTube and stuff. Amazing, dude.
Yeah, just from 2021 to this past weekend, he's fought 7 times in that span of time, and only one of those fights has gone to decision. His fight last year in 2022 against Alejandro Caetano. But yeah, round 1 finish, round 2 finish, round 1 finish. Yeah,
and everyone's like, this guy's just a crazy good wrestler, but he just wants to box. He's like, I just feel like boxing. So who knows? But it's pretty crazy to think like, well, he's been fucking around maybe with lesser competition. And now he's going into the UFC, and sometimes if you have a fighter, especially a guy like who's done a lot of regional, knocked out a lot of guys in regional, or maybe he's a Japanese fighter, or and on a different international scene, and just knocking guys out, then you get to the UFC, and it's like, well, you don't really have that gets exposed really quick if you can't grapple. Well, the guy's a world-class grappler, wrestler. He just doesn't feel like doing it.
Yeah. So
that's pretty amazing. So I'm definitely going to keep an eye out on that guy.
Yeah. And it makes all the sense in the world for him to get ring time in with, well, I mean, even though he's cutting those fights short, but to work out his hands before he gets to that really deep UFC level. So I did see the co-main event too. I kind of watched it, but that was a weird one. Seeing a 205-pound light heavyweight Korean fighter, dude, That was something. Down
that was a
Jones.
trip, and he was good too.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck am I looking at? Yeah, like
Yeah.
yeah, it was this whole weekend was a fever dream, dude.
Yeah, dude, back room, dude. It was back room MMA weekend, dude. And then it was like it was fucking flag football, NFL. It's
That's
like
right.
what am I watching today, dude? What is this shit? Crazy, dude. And yeah, it was a very strange weekend, man.
Yeah. Well, why don't we go ahead and because there wasn't anything too impactful to report from the past weekend. The fights were what they were. Let's go ahead and shift our focus over to this UFC 284 Makhachev Volkanovski main card. We got the two consensus, probably greatest fighters in the sport right now, about to lock horns at 155
And the
pounds.
entire sport, isn't that crazy? The entire sport.
I was thinking
These two-
about it earlier when I was kind of like sitting down and coming up with my hyperbole to talk about, to kind of like dress it up. And I don't know who I would put over them. Or Islam Makhachev can certainly stand to get a title, to get a championship run going, get some defenses under his belt. But like, I mean, we did our predictions for 2023, and we both said Islam would be champ by the end of the year. So it's like, you know, we can't doubt that we think he's certainly dominant. But yeah, man, the featherweight champion of the world, just coming off of probably the greatest performance and the greatest featherweight title performance in all of the UFC. Like the way that he got that win, Volkanovski specifically, got that win over Max Holloway. You know, we've seen the guy level up and get to a point where, you know, he's making a case to be considered number one or number two pound for pound in the world. Islam Makhachev, you know, people were critical about his lack of competition on the way up to a title shot. It was certainly tough for him to get fights in that division. But I have it all ready to break down and to kind of compare and just kind of like really weigh it out here and see how close this fight is really going to be. Like, so I wanted to kind of like break it down by their strength of schedule. They don't have any common opponents. To see who has the edge in speed, striking, grappling. Some of these are going to be like an automatic, you know, check box. Like, we don't really need to talk much about who has better grappling between Islam Makhachev and Alexander Volkanovski. But the closer we get to this fight, like, the more I'm starting to think that it's not going to be a complete shutout. Like, this is very likely going to be a 5-round like decision, like a hard-fought decision.
No. This is going to be interesting. I have a feeling. See, we've done this a lot together, and so like I hate that I like just don't want to say the wrong thing. So I'm like afraid. I'm just like being a pussy, like a huge pussy, and like not wanting to go either way. And again, I mentioned it earlier, I'm a huge hater, and any chance I can get to just talk shit on this Makhachev, I want to. Like, you know, just because, and I think it's the confidence, I think. So, like, the natural hater in me is like, why are you so confident, dude? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, why do you just feel like you can beat this guy
Why
so
must
easily?
I be like that?
Yeah,
Why
and
must
so
I
just,
chase the cat, dude?
my hate level just rises, dude. Like, I go from like 0 to straight hater, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I go from 0 to Cowboys fan real quick when Islam starts talking, and I just now I feel like I know like I'm a lifelong Cowboys fan talking shit. But it's crazy because I think that it's just, if he wasn't so small, you know what I mean?
Volkanovski.
If he just wasn't so small, and everybody's like, well, he's been small in all. Yeah, he's been small in featherweight fights, right? And now he's like, Islam is huge. He is huge, dude. He's a thick boy. He is a big guy, and he's super. They say that he's super strong, like a freak strong. And not only that, I just feel like if he can just knock him out, but it's like, no, he doesn't. That's not really what he does.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He should have knocked out. He should have knocked out the Korean Zombie, dude.
Yeah.
Like, he just should have knocked him out cold. And none of those. I mean, they call him the Zombie for a reason, but if you're getting that many clean shots off on someone who by all appearances is pretty washed,
Yeah.
you should have fucking ended that guy's shit, and you couldn't, dude.
Mm-hmm.
So like, what's gonna happen here? I want him to win so bad, but I just can't really. I don't think it's like you said. It's not going to be a shutout, but I think Islam striking is going to surprise him. It surprised the fuck out of Charles Oliveira,
Mm-hmm.
but I've seen clips of Islam striking and it looks kind of bad. So you're just like, what is that?
Yeah.
Have you seen some of those? I saw them on YouTube where someone like broke down some of his striking.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't look very good, but it's like you put a compilation of any athlete not doing their best, it'll look bad.
It's easy. Yeah. No, it's easy to change the narrative a bit. Like, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've put in my picks on Verdict, and then I fall victim to actually watching the pre-fight highlight reels, like right before the fighter starts coming out to the cage, and I start thinking like, oh, maybe I should go ahead and change my pick or adjust the points or something like that. But I have to remember sometimes and take a close look at those clips and be like, oh, he's wearing sponsors on those shorts. That was a long time ago. That was a meaningful amount of time.
Oh fuck yeah, dude! It's crazy how they have some of there are some like even Habib had like sponsored shit when they show like his old fights, and it's just like, damn, he was in there when they had sponsors.
Yeah, I saw some of that footage come up of his fight with Gleason Tebow from a good while back, which his hands looked really bad in that fight too.
Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think, but from what I understand, and from people who are a lot more knowledgeable than I do, they say that his striking is more to set up an opening, to get a reaction out of you, to get a cheap takedown. He's not really striking you to stand up. You know, when you see like a Jose Aldo strike, he's striking because he's planning on standing up with you for pretty much the whole fight. And so he's striking to set that up. Where Islam's more striking just to kind of get you to put your hands up and maybe put your hips in a compromised position, and then he's going to take you down. Where, so that kind of makes a little more sense as to why he doesn't look like Sugar Ray Leonard or someone out there. But I guess that's. But I just, man, he's gonna win, dude. I don't want him to win. I just don't want to see Volk lose. What he's done in the sport's amazing.
I feel like this is an instance where we have to take a look at some of the more unconventional things to kind of like weigh out how this fight could go. Like, for example, I want to talk about Volkanovski. Well, I want to compare both of their fight IQs for a minute. Because like it would be easy to argue for Islam here in terms of who has the better fight IQ, since he's been nearly flawless. Or at least, like within the last 5 years, he got caught by Adriano Martins, but aside from that, flawless. But on the other end of the spectrum, Volk, being in some closer fights, in some tighter situations, like those Ortega sub attempts that were really threatening, and having that trilogy of fights with Max, where we've been able to kind of like see his growth and progress as a fighter, kind of measured against itself, against the same guy a few times. Like it makes me kind of start to lean towards Volk just because we've seen the data. You know what I mean? When you struggle, that's kind of how we get a little bit of insight about what you're able to do inside the cage to make adjustments and adapt on the fly. And we'd have to just kind of weigh that against the likelihood that he can do something, because he's not going to become a better wrestler than Islam Makhachev, over this training camp. That's for damn sure. So I think like it all comes down to what kind of game plan can he put out in order to kind of like maximize whatever advantages he might have. And I think those advantages might be in conditioning, and timing and reflexes, because I think that had a lot to do with the success that he had against Max Holloway very recently, where he just looked like his striking went to another level, where it wasn't anything like holy shit, that's a fucking Israel Adesanya move or anything. It was still very fundamental strikes, but just knowing when to strike, knowing how to open up those holes in his an opponent's defense, and just being more economical. And I think that is going to be key to him, like being a survivor in this fight, because I think like once Makhachev gets him down, I don't think the fight looks very close. I think it might be a close fight because I think he's going to successfully be fighting off a lot of these Islam Makhachev takedown attempts, or making it so that they're just not viable or not compatible, because he's probably going to. I'm assuming that Islam Makhachev is going to want to take the center of the cage and stay there, and never let himself put his back against the cage, because that's where Islam Makhachev and the Nurmagomedovs in general, the Dagestani style of wrestling, they get a lot of their takedowns off of the cage. And I'm just really excited and curious to see what Volk's answer is going to be to that, or if he's going to be able to employ better speed and footwork. And then also, I'm still wondering too, like, can he outwork Islam Makhachev? Have we ever seen either guy really fade in a fight or look like, oh, he's kind of starting to gas? Like, nothing comes to mind for me, but.
And Volk's going to have a lot more energy, because I know he's been bulking, so to get as big as he can. And I don't know how much of because I've never fought MMA, so I don't know how much of but in just life in general, like, I had recently lost a lot of weight, and I know, like, when I was strictly dieting, I just had no energy to do anything, dude. I couldn't lift things. I just felt like way. And then so lately I've been eating a lot easier, and my strength levels, by just eating like a normal human, my strength levels have gone up like a crazy amount. And I'm able to run faster, lift heavier, and do all these things by just eating. So, that's anecdotal as fuck, especially when you're talking about two world-class athletes that do this for a living. But I just feel like maybe that could be something that can really, now he can eat whatever he wants. He's going to have more energy. He's been training with more energy behind him.
And to be honest, I think going into this, I think Volk already has the edge in conditioning. He's been in not even just because he was a lighter weight fighter, but he's had more 5-round experience than Islam. He's gone to he's had 4 fights go the distance in 5 rounds, and then he went to the 4th round with Korean Zombie, where they ended it there. And Islam Makhachev has only seen the 4th round one time in his career too. Right. So, and I think that's what's really going to be fascinating too, because I think it's very likely we see a 5th round, as his first 5th round out of Islam Makhachev, and seeing what he looks like is going to tell us a lot about how much he's going to be able to dominate as a champion in this.
And we've made the point of the obligations that come with being a champ, as far as the interviews, the promotion, just everything that goes with it. And you can tell Islam's a little frustrated with the way things, rightfully so, with the promotion, with how, they're not really pushing it. We've seen him so much more. And is that something like, is he able to compartmentalize that, where Volk's kind of like, this is years he's been doing this, huge fights, championship fights, not just rounds, but I'm talking like championship level promotion, interviews, press obligations, sponsorship obligations, all those things that come with being a champion now. Is that gonna, I doubt it's like a huge thing, but with one guy who just knows how that is, and one guy that's kind of like, because like, your first day of your job, it's fucking hard, and like just but when you're 2 or 3 years into it, you're like, fuck, I used to stress over these things. Like, it's a job. It's still his job. So do you think like now he's like, fuck, I have to fucking talk to DC, I have to fucking go on ESPN, I have to fucking do all this, but answer the same questions.
I gotta get on a long ass plane ride down to Perth, Australia.
Yeah,
that's a thing too. I mean, a lot of when going through some of these different things and weighing the strengths and weaknesses and everything, part of what I kind of looked into was like, what does the whole home field advantage thing come into play here? And I mean, at this level, it would be dumb to be like, oh, a crowd that's opposing or for their guy is going to make any kind of it's not that, none of that shit's going to make a difference in this fight. But when you got to get on an airplane, and I don't know how long of a plane flight it's going to be. And I don't even know if Islam Makhachev is already in Perth.
Yeah, he's already there.
He's already there. Okay.
Because I know. God damn it, Javier Mendez has been in for 2 weeks, and I guess he's been there for close to a month.
Oh well, if Javier, he's been there for a meaningful amount of time then. So
because they were talking about it like he was away from AKA for a month, but that his trainer, his Russian trainer is like doing very good, and then Javier got here, and it was so. I guess he's been there going on 2 weeks now, and so I guess Islam's been there close to a month. So I think his body clock will be pretty.
Yeah, yeah, safe to say. Any does it give you any pause or any thoughts about the fact that Khabib Nurmagomedov is officially retired from coaching and won't be present in Islam's corner?
I think all of it mixed together. I don't think any one of the things is a huge. If you just put it in a vacuum, like the travel, I don't think it'd be a huge. I don't think Khabib being out because he's fought a lot without Khabib.
Sure.
So I don't think that. I think the press obligations and the championship obligations, a 5-round training camp is going to be a thing. But I think all of it together could end up being a pretty
clear frames.
I thought he rocked the clear frames.
Let me get this picture of Ron Perlman off my
the Ron Perlman cat's on your background.
Okay, sad to report that we ran into I ran into some audio issues. So we were deep in the weeds talking Volkanovski versus Makhachev, and then I stopped recording Brandon's audio for some reason. So hard edit, and we're back, and we were just talking about, well, the last thing that I caught Brandon talking about was all of the different obligations that Islam Makhachev would be having to focus on as a new champion, and then also having to travel all the way to Perth.
Chinese spy balloons.
That's
why he told me off.
That's what fucked up the sound.
Yeah. I started talking about the Chinese spy balloon, and they're just like, what the hell?
And then, there's probably some one-way audio of me kind of like reacting or speaking onto some of that stuff. But we're going to circle back around. We're going to get straight back to our picks for this fight so that, we won't be a waste of an episode. So we had already talked about our picks, but please tell us again who you're picking for this.
Volkanovski.
Brandon's going on the record picking Volkanovski in this fight. And one thing that I had
feels like Derek, like I'm taking Cannonier again. Like this feels like the Jared Cannonier.
You know what?
Pick.
I'll keep us. I won't curse us, because if I also picked Volkanovski, then yeah, it would be that again. Although I mean, he's so much more worthy of a pick than Cannonier. Like, what were we thinking with Cannonier?
Again, hater. I'm just a world-class hater, dude.
Yeah, when we started this podcast, like Izzy was like your fixation of hate. Like I think we both.
I've come all the way around. I like him. I like him a lot now.
Yeah, and I like Rose now too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, no, I won't curse us. I will. I was looking for any excuse to pick Volkanovski. I was really trying to talk myself into it. Still gonna go Islam here, and because of that, Volkanovski is probably going to win, and you're going to look like. Man.
I really want him to win.
Genius.
He's such a good fighter. He's only been doing. It sounds crazy to say, but he's only been doing it 9 years.
Yeah. Yeah, and just the body transformation that guy went through. Also, starting already in his 20s to work on MMA, not having any traditional martial arts background prior to that I know of, just going into a gym and saying, no, I want to train in mixed martial arts.
That's the crazy thing. That's the crazy thing, because you do see guys like Eric Anders or these type of dudes who are just a crazy wild athletes.
Yeah.
And then they turn into good fighters. But because of their athleticism, where Volk, I mean, yeah, his athleticism is it's crazy off the charts. But I think what you find is how you don't normally see a guy who takes that short route, whatever. 9 years doesn't sound, it sounds like a long time, but it's really not comparatively. But to be, the crazy fight IQ, and to be able to translate that into fights and to see the growth fight in and fight out is crazy to me. So that it shows like he's a different type of person, and what we're seeing is crazy.
Yeah, he's a special athlete. He's an outlier by every definition of the word, and it's going to be really, really impressive when Raul Rosas Jr. manages to take him out and become a triple champion.
Both of these guys out.
Yeah. Become a triple champion of the three.
Ilya Topuria could probably beat both of these dudes, I think.
Interesting. Ooh.
I think he could beat both of these dudes. I think he could grapple Islam right back in his ass, and he could fucking knock the fuck out of Volkanovski. Dude.
I like how I've been like passenger seat on this Ilya Topuria bandwagon this whole time, and I hear you say that, I'm like, ooh. As if I wouldn't be like, yes.
Your shoulders went low, dude. That was a bust and a half.
All right, yeah, so we're both on the record. I'm going Islam, you're going Volkanovski. Let's transition to this co-main event that we hadn't actually gotten into talking about earlier when we lost sound miraculously. We went off on a little bit of a tangent. What were we talking
We're talking about Ron Perlman and the dude who does the UFC countdown.
Right.
Or what, Embedded. It's the guy who's Ray Donovan, I think, and he does like NFL, he does like the HBO Hard Knocks.
Oh, and then you asked me about my take about like why they're potentially like sandbagging this fight, and that's just lost. It's in the ether. No one's ever going to hear my take on that.
Okay, so
I don't want to. No, I don't want to repeat.
Let's give them cliff notes. They basically don't want to pay either one of these dudes. It's basically like if you have two really good workers, you own a business, you have two great workers, and once they believe they're great workers, you're going to have to pay at least one of them, and you'd rather not pay either of them because that doesn't fit your business model. So might as well just don't even fucking mention to them.
Beautiful.
Give employee a month to the redacted gentleman from England.
The redacted. Beautifully summarized. That actually sums it all up pretty perfectly, because at the end of the day, if you're a better fighter than you are popular in the eyes of most of the audience, the UFC is going to probably the UFC is probably going to sandbag you a bit promotionally, so that when it comes time to negotiate, you can't bring these big extravagant dollar amounts to the table for Daddy Dana.
I think the McGregor thing, like as much as they liked it, they really went, oh fuck. You do that? you can do that shit?
Yeah, they didn't need McGregor. I mean, at the time it worked out because they still got all their money from their pay-per-view sales. Mm-hmm. So at the time it was probably fine, and it was probably like, this guy's kind of hard to work with probably, but it's worth it. Now, I don't think they want anybody to get that famous.
Look at Francis and Ngannou. They're like, bye.
Yeah.
Bye. Oh, you're the best heavyweight we've had in I don't know how long. We need heavyweights. Fuck you. Bye. What? What? Yeah, and as every week that goes by, dude, no one's gonna give a fuck about him anymore. Ariel's not gonna have him on. No one's gonna give a fuck, dude. No one's gonna care. It's sad.
Yeah, and I mean, it's fucked up too. Tyson Fury still kind of like dangling that carrot of just this novelty fight, and
he's only doing it to get better, like a better rate and a better time frame on the Usyk fight.
He's not doing it. He's painfully transparent. Yeah. Okay, Yair Reyes versus Josh Emmett in this featherweight championship co-main event, UFC interim featherweight championship. Excuse me.
Yair Rodriguez.
Yair.
Yair. You called him Reyes, cocksucker.
Oh, you want to
make fun of me?
No. I always.
You're the one from Orange Grove.
I always call him Yair Reyes for some reason. Who's Yair Reyes?
I
Is
don't
there
know.
anybody named?
AC
Okay.
Market? I
No.
don't know. The guy at Randy's? The guy who gets you your pizza at Randy's?
The
I
delivery
don't know.
guy. No, yeah. For some reason, I always call Yair Rodriguez Yair Reyes. I have no idea why. I'll probably say it again before the end of this episode. But yeah, thank you for the correction. Yair.
Yair.
Yeah.
Fuck you, dude.
Yair.
Get his last name right first, please.
Say his first name right.
Yair. Yair.
Yair.
Yair.
Yair.
Yeah. Yeah, I ain't gonna be the champion very long anyway.
Versus, versus Josh Emmett.
Josh Emmett, swole tits. Josh Emmett. Did you see that?
No,
Homie's been on the Sazul, dude.
Is that right?
His titties are big. Yeah.
Somebody who has plenty of time to be on the Sazul would be Yair Reyes. Yair Rodriguez. Not a super active
you could just
fighter.
go down the street and get it. You know what I mean?
Well, according to some sources, you could just eat meat.
Yeah, yeah. They just got clenbuterol in the fucking meat over there.
Yeah, one of the more inactive fighters in this featherweight division, locking horns with a guy
and a real world-class piece of shit. Also.
Well, okay, you keep sidetracking me, but it's fine because it's hilarious. I was laughing so much when I remembered Yair Reyes' fight with Brian Ortega, where Brian Ortega. I did. I'm gonna Yair, where Mr. Yair had his fight with Brian Ortega, and the fight ended early because Brian Ortega injured his shoulder. And he's all consoling Brian Ortega and talking about like, "Hey, we'll do it again, bro. No, I'll give you the rematch." And no, he understood because I think Yair was speaking English to him. But what made me laugh so hard was remembering how Brian Ortega was like, "Oh, bro, palabra."
Stella just trying hard. That's why she left him, dude. Tracy left him.
Oh man, one of the sadder breakups in the sport, man.
Dude, he probably went to like a barbecue at her family's house, and like they were talking to him, and he probably just said the stupidest shit. Dude. I guarantee you, he like in Blood In, Blood Out, and then everyone just like turned, and they're like, "What?" Like, he's fucking quoting fucking American Me.
Let's take a look at these records here. Yair Rodriguez is coming in off of his win over that we just mentioned over Brian Ortega. Prior to that, he had a loss to Max Holloway, a pretty lopsided loss in 2021. And then before that, he hadn't competed since 2019 when he beat Jeremy Stevens. And then also before that, 2018 when he beat Chan Sung Jung, the Korean Zombie. That was a really, really entertaining fight. Ended at the last second of the last round. I remember it being right at the bell, but man, seriously, leaving nothing left. Kind of break this fight down for me a little bit. Where are you leaning? Whose body of work do you like more? What do you think about the fact that this is going to be the next person up to fight what's left of Volkanovski after he finishes getting in his tussle with Islam Makhachev? I keep forgetting that this is going to be a 5-round fight. This is for an interim belt.
Yeah.
Does that kind of like have any kind of impact on what you think the outcome might be in this fight?
I came into this fully ready to pick Yair. But now I want to pick Josh Emmett. Now, I don't know why. I just don't. I don't.
I think my biggest issue with Yair is the inactivity. I just don't think that you can fight that in often and then go in there and get it done against a guy in Josh Emmett, who in a lot of people's eyes has arguably already earned a title shot. Now, I don't agree with that necessarily.
Sure.
An interim title fight is fine. I think it makes a whole lot of sense for him right here. I think that Yair Rodriguez represents like the perfect guy to kind of earn that title shot against for him. So I think it makes a lot of sense for him here. I think Yair Rodriguez, I got to kind of question like what he's doing.
His mental state. I just don't like the way that he acts. I don't like that. He's been very weird. You know, he's very weird.
He acts like he's some Mexican boxer who's like coming from a place where he's made like a ton of money, and that, because from the very get go he's had
Entitled
the
to
audacity.
Yeah, you're entitled to shit. Yeah, you. But I think the one reason why I would pick him is because Emmett he throws these crazy looping punches, and Yadi is more of a sniper, real fucking pretty. Like, he places his shots very well, like, and he throws everything with really good intentions. He does go crazy, but it's not like for the sake of being crazy. Where Emmett kind of just seems like, I'm just gonna fucking start swinging on motherfuckers. So I just feel like a straight punch, more of a straight puncher, will always kind of beat a looping puncher. To me, that's just like, in my redacted brain, that's where my head goes, is where a dude who throws with more accuracy is always going to beat a guy who's throwing from his hip, you know?
Yeah, a little too much reckless abandon for Josh Emmett when he moves forward. I feel like I think I kind of feel like it's Josh Emmett's fight to lose.
Sure.
And I think being reminded now, just like as we're recording, that it's a 5-round interim title fight, I think that actually kind of makes me swing towards Josh Emmett, where coming into this, I was kind of prepared to lean towards Yair Rodriguez, because I kind of thought that in those 3 rounds that, because for one, Josh Emmett, he's the better wrestler, like without question, but he's a guy who
a good camp. He's coming from a good camp.
Yeah. But he is kind of a guy who fights down to his competition a bit. And
Exactly.
I think he might be a little too willing to, or not, I don't think he's going to be stubbornly trying to strike with Yair the entire time. Eventually he's going to know, like, okay, I got to try and take this to the ground. And I felt like in 3 rounds, he might figure that out too late. And Yair Rodriguez, I'm so struggling to not call him Ray. His head movement, especially early in the fight, is something to behold. I think that's going to be a level of head movement and footwork.
He's a good fighter. All the shit I'm talking about, it's just all on his attitude. It has nothing to do with his in-cage performance. Nothing to do. And he, for however long he was fighting, it looked like he was gonna fucking beat the brakes off of Ortega, dude. It looked like that was gonna be a long one. Like, thank God that happened to your shoulder, dude.
Yes,
because it probably bought you an extra couple months with Tracy by, like, you know what I'm saying, as far as like her like feeling bad for him.
Yeah, I can't break up with him while he's got a bum arm.
Yeah, but you could definitely break up with him if the dude who actually speaks Spanish beats the shit out of him on ABC. You know, so he's a very good fighter. He's very, very good.
Yeah.
Very, like, and I think grappling wise, he's a lot better than you would think. Also,
yeah,
he's a lot more confident than you would think, especially when you see, like you said, in the early rounds, the way he kind of comes out. You would definitely think like, oh, this is a striker. This is a crazy striker. No, he can grapple, and he's going to keep it from getting too lopsided. You know, as good as Emmett is trained in grappling and wrestling. So,
I to that point, I do think that Yair Rodriguez is a guy who, once he just fights more often in general, but once he learns to fight in the transitions a little bit more, is when he might be like a next level kind of guy for this division, because he has very underrated grappling, like offensive grappling. I don't know so much about his defensive grappling, and we know that his striking is elite. Like, he's really good, really unconventional. It can hit you from a lot of different angles, but I think it's just the transition phase, moving from one phase to the next, where it's not as smooth as you'd like to see it. And I think working on some wrestling would probably clear that up a lot for him, because that tends to be that transition style, is just knowing like whether or not you're gonna be able to dictate whether it stays standing or not. I think that would make him, but he doesn't have that coming into this fight. That's more Josh Emmett's territory. yeah, I think that I will say this though, even though I'm gonna go ahead and pick Josh Emmett. I think if Josh Emmett can't get him down for whatever reason, I think it looks like a rough fight for Josh Emmett. It's a bad, yeah. Like if he's going in there with some kind of an injury or he gasses like midway through the fight a bit. Not that I'm predicting that at all, but if for whatever reason his ability to take this fight is not there, or take this fight to the ground is not there, it's gonna look really, really bad for him. It could be one-way traffic in that scenario.
Yes. Couldn't agree with you more, man. And I'll take. I'm gonna take Yair Rodriguez.
Look at us. Look at us.
Who would have thought, huh?
Differing on 2 picks so far. This is 2023 Fight Plug podcast, folks. This is how it's going down. That's how we're doing it now.
Fucking 18 views this time, but come on, let's go. That's fucking Baker's dozen.
My guy, JDM, Jack Della Maddalena, getting back into the octagon to do work against 16-4 Randy Brown. Another exciting one. Jack Della Maddalena getting back to work really, really quick. When was the last time he fought? We just saw him in action in November 19th against Danny Roberts.
November.
Yeah.
That's like before Thanksgiving. How long ago does that seem? Jesus Christ.
JDM, he was busy in 2022. He had 3 fights in 2022, in January, June, and November. I mean, if you're going to spread them out, that's how you do it right there. And he locks horns with the aforementioned Randy Brown. I'm going to let you go first on this one. Rude boy Randy Brown. Yes, sir. Right, he's
this is by far his best fighter.
Yeah.
He's faced.
Yeah,
by a long way.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were talking about Randy Brown's last fight, where if God damn it, remind me of the gentleman's name.
Francisco Trinaldo.
Right. A vet's a vet with Francisco Trinaldo, who would definitely know how to make a fight look like the fight looked the last time Randy Brown fought him. Or Randy Brown was we saw him in the octagon, right? And the one thing I keep hearing people say is like, well, if Della Magdalena fought Trinaldo, he would have knocked him the fuck out in the first round. And I'm not so sure. Like, if you fight a guy who is that much of a veteran, who's been through everything, who knows how to make a fight ugly, would really. So I don't know if his last fight was something that you can really go off of, as far as like how this fight's going to match up. Or I see a lot of people in the media or like the pundits kind of breaking it down that way. At least I have. I don't know, but I can't speak for you. But I think, that being said, I do think Della Magdalena is gonna get the victory here. I just don't think it's gonna look as easy as it has for him, which doesn't take a genius to say that either. But I just think, I don't know if I've seen him face this good of an athlete and someone who with this size and strength that Rude Boy's bringing into this. Because there was he almost jumped out of the fucking octagon against Ronaldo. That looked crazy with that knee or that kick that he tried to throw on him that was pretty close to landing.
Yeah.
So.
I have to agree that as far as like the step up in competition for Jack Della Maddalena, this is it right here. And like you mentioned, not so much, or not just in terms of experience, but just pure physicality. Like athleticism is a big factor in kind of like in picking fights. And it might become less and less of a factor as you get to the top of the divisions, where everybody is, a tier 1 athlete. But when you get a little bit further down in the card, when you kind of like assess who Jack Della Maddalena was fighting coming into this fight, and then also where Rude Boy kind of excels, I think for him. I mean, I'm rooting for JDM in this fight. I think he's the more exciting prospect here, but I think that the Rude Boy has a lot of avenues to make this a really competitive fight and give JDM trouble. And I think step one is don't ever be in punching range. I think this is where, like, because Randy Brown has a really good, solid front kick and decent leg kicks too, and I think he's going to want to keep it out there. If he's and good judo tosses also.
Yes,
I think if he ever gets any closer than kicking range with JDM, it should be seeking to clinch up and use a trip or a good judo toss to get it to the ground, because both guys seem capable of fighting off of the back foot, but I think JDM is a bit better at that from what we've seen. And I think another exciting prospect about this Rude Boy fight for JDM also is Randy Brown. As much as I was saying don't be in punching range, I mean, JDM is going to put himself in punching range. Randy Brown throws straight punches, which I like, and I think you mentioned that also. And so I think that he could be threatening, and I think he represents. I hope, if nothing else, if it's another JDM type of performance, I hope he at least tests Jack Della Maddalena so we could learn a bit more about him. I think
I think that's what the Mick Maynard and Sean Shelby and these gentlemen were hoping to do with this matchup. Yeah. I think they were like, okay, well, let's fucking see now.
I am a little bit concerned, though, that the method in which Randy Brown fights, I think he's a little bit, he could be a little bit too inviting to a firefight. Because like I said, I don't want to see him anywhere inside of punching range. I would hope he stays out in kicking range, but I think he's probably a bit too willing to indulge. And when we see how he's lost fights in the UFC, Vicente Luque, knees and punches, Nico Price, hammer fists from bottom position, which is such a Nico Price way to win a fight. Bilal Muhammad got the unanimous decision, but that's how Bilal's going to do that. And Chaos Williams also dropped Randy Brown. That was a really close fight that I thought Chaos Williams was probably going to win. I would need to rewatch that fight to have a bit more of an opinion about who I think actually won it in retrospect. But I think the biggest problem for Rude Boy in this fight is how hittable he is, and I think that can be addressed. I think he has the skills to address it, but is he going to want to come out here and make a statement and knock out good old JDM in front of his hometown? Who knows? Like, I think that's going to be, it's going to matter. The game plan that he brings into it is going to matter. I think I'm still comfortably going with JDM, but I wouldn't be surprised if Rude Boy pulls it off. This is also like the fight to not miss outside of the main event, of course. Another fight on this card that I thought looked really, really good that I'm excited to talk about. Josh Kulabau versus, and let me see if I can pronounce this dude's name, Melsik Bagdasaryan.
Okay.
I was watching some of Josh Kulabau's previous fights to kind of break down, because I remember I watched some of his fights and was kind of impressed by him, and then I started to watch highlights of his opponent, Melsik Bagdasaryan, an Armenian fighter, featherweight fight, and this one is like my new don't miss this fight for the prelims, because Melsik, this guy, his Muay Thai.
Break it down for me.
Just devastating Muay Thai. Really, really, really clean elbows and knees inside the clinch. A left high kick or a head kick that comes out of nowhere with zero telegraphing. And I think it's going to be a great fight.
I'm almost there. Keep going. I'm almost there, dude.
Josh Kulabau, scrappy as fuck. Likes to throw hands, throws straight punches. And also is kind of matches his opponent's aggression too. He kind of seems to be that kind of fighter where if you're gonna throw down like crazy, he's gonna match that. So I think this one's gonna be a really, really excited one. I'm gonna go for the upset. I was really, really impressed with some of what I was seeing from Melsik Bagdasaryan in his highlights and his previous fights that I could find on YouTube. I mean, we'll have to see what he looks like when he makes, because this is his debut fight, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Let me open that up.
Oh, okay.
Because I didn't see any footage of him inside the UFC. No, I'm wrong. This is his third fight in the UFC. He's fought Bruno Souza and Colin Anglin. Yeah, so that's gonna be an exciting one. I know you like a good Muay Thai style fighter.
I do like. So you've got me fully interested now, dude. Fully interested in this.
Any other sleeper fights from the early card? Anything you would recommend for people to tune in early for?
I'm just really sad, and it looks like Hamzat's calling out Whitaker, but that just bummed me out so bad. That this could have made this could have made the card like, but Alonzo Minifield, my guy, my friend, your favorite, Alonzo Minifield is going to do some wild shit. I called it the last time he did it. I'm calling it again, dude. Everybody's going after the hometown boy Jimmy Crute right here.
Mm.
Alonzo Minifield is going. He is a fucking killer, dude, and he is going to pull some wild shit on Jimmy Crute. I guarantee it. I'm calling it right now.
Alonzo Menifield with 4 finishes inside the UFC. Jimmy Crute, looking at his record right now. At least I thought I was. Jimmy Crute, 2-2 as far as finishes. I mean, he's finished. He's had 2 finishes inside the UFC, and he's also been finished twice. And those were his recent fights too, Jamal Hill and Anthony Smith. Well, that was a doctor stoppage due to leg injury against Anthony Smith. But yeah, Jamal Hill made short work of Jimmy Crute. And yeah, I can definitely see Alonzo Menifield recreating that for sure. He's streaking right now, and he's really kind of started to kind of like hit that next gear, separating people from their senses. That's a good call right there, man. I'm all for it. What is Menifield the dog in that fight, or is he the favorite?
I don't think so. I actually don't think so. But I think a lot of people would take Crute in this spot, and I like Alonzo Menifield. I just like Alonzo Menifield here.
Mm-hmm.
Smash that like what do we got here? Let's take a look.
Alonzo Menifield opening up as a plus 195.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the dog, right? Yeah, Jimmy Crute minus 230. Interesting.
Yeah. Alonzo Menifield. There's no reason.
Dude, you're going wild. Yeah, you're going all sorts of
Take
different
it
directions.
easy.
I mean, not that I expected or knew who you were going to pick in this fight, but Volkanovski pick, man. Are you going to place any bets for this card?
Nope.
No?
Nope. Broke as fuck. It's just got back from Disney again.
Oh, I
so
know that.
yeah. God damn it! And then I got kids that they want to eat or whatever, so they just won't stop growing. They need clothes and eat and entertainment. Yeah.
So we one thing that we can kind of circle back around and touch on a bit, because we started talking about it when I found out that we had stopped recording, but it is still current news. We had confirmed that Conor McGregor will be fighting Michael Chandler. Well, he'll be competing against Michael Chandler in The Ultimate Fighter, and of course that obviously means that they'll be fighting each other a bit later this year. What do you think about that? How do you think that does for The Ultimate Fighter? Is that something that's going to make you potentially tune in? Do you watch The Ultimate Fighter regularly when it's on? No?
I haven't seen it in more than a decade, dude. I'll watch like certain fights to go back, like if we're breaking it down, and then the guy is most recently or had his best outings on Ultimate Fighter, but I don't normally I won't like watch the episodes, or it's been a long time.
I only watch the coaches' challenges. That's it.
Yeah, the fucking rock climbing, double fingers, fucking Ronda Rousey, you fucking idiot. Yeah, I'm gonna watch this for sure. I'm kind of sad that it's not Tony Ferguson. It's Tony Ferguson's own fault, though. I feel like he kind of took that course of action as far as not wanting to do, just going after the title, for kind of hanging on as a title contender for too long, instead of going after the money fights and doing more of the Nate Diaz thing, which he should have done. He should have taken a page out of Nick Diaz's fight, which just kind of come out of nowhere for money fights and kind of work off his clout. But he pressed title aspirations a little too far, and it ended up costing him, especially against Gaethje and all that stuff. And I think that's what we're seeing now.
Yeah, I think he didn't recognize in time the value of saying no, especially at the point where he was at his most promotionally viable or powerful, when he could have been saying no. Yeah, definitely. I mean, hindsight,
And then cutting weight when you didn't have to.
Yes, that was the pointless weight cut. And that was just to prove that he would have been on weight for his fight with Khabib, right? And that was going into that fight with Justin Gaethje. I forgot about the additional weight cut. Get out of here, Cat. Beans.
I think that was the turning point in his whole career, dude.
Oh, yeah. It was never the same after that.
Yeah. Well, that and the whole, his wife calling 911 on him. But that could have been.
Fuck you.
Yeah. Oh, stupid. It just goes black.
I always love that clip from when the media guy or whatever was trying to give him props at a press conference.
I'm talking here.
Yeah.
Or is that what he said?
No, it was a different one. Oh, have you never seen it? Well, and it was one of the indoor ones. And Tony's up on the stage. I don't even know if anyone else is up on the stage with him or if it's like the solo ones. And it was after all of that happened with his wife, after he'd been away for a little bit. And the guy says, I want to commend you for, the focusing on your mental health and addressing all of that and stuff, blah, blah, blah. And was trying to sound all motivational or whatever. And Tony Ferguson was just like, fuck you, next question.
Oh, yeah, dude, I have seen it, but I want to see this again. I do remember something like this.
Yeah, it was great.
He straight up told him, fuck you, like that?
Yeah, he just straight up said, fuck you, next question. Because I think it was a deal where it's like the media member was trying to be like, yeah, dude, let's talk about mental health and MMA and everything. And Tony Ferguson was just, and rightfully so, was like, yeah, but that's also my mental health we're talking about. And we don't need to talk about that publicly. So fuck you for like making it about that. Ask me about fights, dude,
Yeah, so, sure. Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, I don't remember. I just always remember like I'm talking right now.
Yeah, I'm talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that when he literally threw a fucking a boomerang at him?
No. You're getting your Verdum incidents mixed up. Verdum threw a boomerang at Colby Covington.
That's correct. Yeah. Both psychopaths.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that guy's just attracted, or crazy is attracted to him. Dude.
Yeah, dude. God damn. That's hilarious.
Well, Michael Chandler is going to make a fuck ton of money, I think. I think that is probably going to be a fight that could easily turn into a rematch, that could turn into a trilogy, because it's just an easy fight that they can plug into any event that's going to immediately sell out, any venue that they go to. That sells out anywhere in the world, too. That fight is cheat codes. And if Michael Chandler is smart, we know he's fucking smart.
Yeah, he is smart.
He is smart, and he is certainly capable. I think he really needs to make
he's
sure.
Smart like a snake is smart, though. He's not smart like an owl. He's smart like a snake.
Oh yeah, we've seen like how he gets after it when he's being smart. When he's fish hooking Dustin Poirier and such.
Well, he admitted to. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. He admitted. I was listening to the interview with Brett Okamoto, and he's like, "Oh, so that fight doesn't seem like it's going to happen until like the summer, right? So you're only going to fight once, and you're kind of you've been on the downside as far as wins." And he's like, "Yeah, I don't care." He's like, "I'll make as much money on this one as I would 4 fights. So what do I care?" And I was like, damn, okay.
Also, come on, Brett Okamoto. You know this. If anybody knows this, you know this, Brett.
You know this, bro. Yeah. And I hate that it's not someone crazier. Like, it would have been so cool to see him fight Masvidal or Tony or someone like that who was really going to, like, give him, put up on a tee. And because I just don't want it to turn into the Cowboy Cerrone, Conor McGregor press deal.
You don't like nice Conor?
No, I don't.
No,
I like
nice
funny
Conor's boring. Conor. Yeah, I like chaos Conor.
Yeah.
And I think we'll get that here.
Like the kill a broad. I'll try to kill a broad on a yacht, Connor. I want that, Connor.
Yeah, that Connor's good for business. That Connor's
Yeah.
gonna probably actually get us some comments on a YouTube video one day soon, hopefully. I think
We had Islam's bandwagon commented on it.
uh,
Remember we had that, was it like Indonesia like fucking showed out for us, and
Yeah.
then there's like comments about Islam.
yeah, one random episode like earlier in the year, like mid-year, probably sometime around June or July. I don't recall which one it was, but yeah, we had an influx of viewers for some reason.
This is Islam Makhachev. It was the Islam factor, dude.
Yep. Back to what I was saying about Michael Chandler, though. I think Mike Chandler, to give my early prediction, I think that's an easy fight for him. And not to say that it's not winnable, because one analyst, probably the Weasel, mentioned how Connor does against, I think it was Southpaws, whether it was Southpaws or Orthodox. I know he fucked up Eddie Alvarez because of this, and Michael Chandler basically fights from the same stance and the same style, and so it looks like it could definitely be problems for him. But Michael Chandler has the wrestling for in spades to get it done, and while I do think that he's not going to resort to that immediately, because he wants to sell this fight, he wants to make sure he gives people a reason to tune in and watch a rematch in a potential trilogy. I think for that to happen, he needs to win that first fight. Because if he just I don't think Connor's not looking to fight anybody who he's already beat, ever. I mean, I think the first and only time that's happened was Poirier in their rematch, because he had already beat Poirier back at featherweight, and so at that point Poirier was a lot.
I think Connor would want to fight Max.
Maybe, but I don't know if I think they might be too separated by weight now. Promotionally, in terms of how much
Max has mentioned it a few different times.
Yeah, in terms of engagement and how well it would sell, I think he'd be all about it. I don't know. I mean, Max would have to come chase him up at a higher weight class, because I have my doubts as to whether Connor ever even goes back down to lightweight, to be honest.
They said that this fight, he's fighting him at lightweight at 155.
Against Chandler? No, it's
Chandler.
They both said welterweight already.
No, at 155. Look it up, buddy.
All right.
I was just reading it. We were talking about it.
I will see.
Come on. See, you just look like Luke Thomas. You don't actually have the whole package.
Fuck you.
Oh man.
Well, I'll be darned. No, I'm not seeing anything about it yet. Michael Chandler. One day ago, Michael Chandler hoping Conor McGregor fight takes place at welterweight. Even if they say it's going to be at lightweight right now, I think we have to take it with a grain of salt, because Conor's still not even back in the testing pool, and it might be a little while till he is. And they're going to have to go through everything with the Ultimate Fighter and stuff. I think it's still very up in the air whether or not that fight takes place at welterweight.
So, according to Full Violence on Instagram, McGregor Chandler will be at lightweight per Dana White. This was posted 1 hour ago.
Are we quoting Instagram pages now? If it ain't from the Fight Plug Podcast Instagram page, I don't want to hear it. No, all right. We'll see what's going on. Like I said, though, it's still way early compared to when that fight's probably going to take place.
This is an account that Michael Chandler follows. This is an account that Alistair Overeem follows. Verdict follows them. Ilya Topuria, Paulo Costa, Gilbert Burns. You follow them also.
I'm aware. I'm aware.
Dude, you were wrong, dude. I mean, come on.
All right.
And then the Luke Thomas thing got you.
I was wrong, but when that fight comes around and it's inevitably at welterweight,
then
we could look back. We could look back at how wrong I was.
Yeah. Okay.
No, to be honest though, I hope Conor does come back and fight at lightweight.
Yeah.
I think that because it doesn't matter. They're never just going to throw him into the deep end of the pool. They're always going to be very selective about his matchups, but personality wise, in terms of guys who can sell a fight with him at welterweight, anybody who can beats the brakes off of Conor, and it's probably
Correct.
not anybody that Conor wants to fight. Meanwhile, at lightweight, while it's a deeper, more imposing division, I think there's more of a selection of guys there that he can kind of pick and choose and have fun, exciting,
Conor and
potentially
Charles
winnable
would be
fights.
fun.
Yeah, no, that would be great.
Conor, and I would love to see like Fazeev and Conor.
I would
That
love
would
to
be
see
fun.
them if they, dude. I would still like to see RDA get his red panty night.
Yeah.
It's still a fight I'd be down to watch. Yeah, there's a lot for
He
him
was
there.
trying. RDA was trying. But okay.
God bless him. All right, man. Cool. Well, I don't know if we have much else to cover. Talked about Conor. Gave our picks. About to
Demiris
see-
Magulov is back.
Oh, what a short retirement, dude.
Yeah.
He's back.
Bobby
and he was really
Green
trying
is
to.
retiring.
Yeah. Bobby Green's retiring?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
He said on Instagram today's next fight's his last fight.
Oh, dang. I heard that Demiris Magulov was calling for a rematch with Arman Tsarukyan, and that he's only coming back for one more fight because he wants to officially have a retirement fight where he goes into it knowing that he's going to retire. He doesn't want to just retire as a reaction to losing a fight, which he's not going to get that Arman Tsarukyan fight. I mean, they're not going to risk Arman going out there and losing to a guy who's already told us, he's already revealed his hand and said that he's going to retire. So he basically locked himself into a glue factory fight. He's probably going to get the next. He's probably going to have to fight Gamrot or something.
He should have, if he knew damn well he was going to fight or retire, he should have said, I'll take a 3-fight. Can I extend?
Mm-hmm.
I'll fight if you guys give me a 3-fight deal.
Mm-hmm.
Give me Tsarukyan, please. And then see what they said.
Game the
If he
system
was-
a little bit.
Yeah, if he was trying to politic me, bitch, I lied, I'm out. And then just kind of let go.
Throw a smoke bomb and just disappear.
Yeah.
Disappear
And then
into
he's like, we see you. You're right there.
yeah. Yeah.
What was the other one? Someone got hurt. Let me see here.
Dan Hooker, he's out of his
Oh,
fight
Dan Hooker
with
got
Jalen
hurt.
Turner.
That sucks.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I'm glad to hear that Jalen Turner is still slated to be on that card. They're just,
Yeah, he needs to fight.
yeah. But, I mean, Hooker probably dodged a bullet there because I was expecting Jalen Turner to beat the brakes off of him. So, yeah, hopefully he heals up. Let's see. Javier Mendez earlier today on what publication is this? MMA Junkie said that Islam Makhachev will clear out lightweight, then go after welterweight. So they're showing that they want to move up. That's going to be a tough task, man, because lightweight, in terms of what it means to clean out lightweight, I mean, you can't say that till you're like 15 title defenses in.
You'd be the greatest fighter to ever lived if you clear out this lightweight division.
Yes, this current incarnation of a lightweight division, boy, oh boy. And he's got wins over some of the key components. You know, he has that early win over Arman Tsarukyan. It's not, obviously not worth as much as to being able to say that, you know, he defended his title against Arman in the near future. But, I mean, he still got that. He still has that fucking scalp on his mantle.
Yeah.
Is that bad to say? It's like he still has that scalp on his mantle.
If he went to, like, if we were doing this live from the Tachi Palace, yes, that would be bad to say. It
never really
or like
occurred to
Chansey.
me. Uh-huh.
Yeah, but here, no, that's fine.
Interesting.
Because the Comanches were cool. That was fucking cool. I was not to get all Joe Rogan, but they did some wild shit. They used to steal white kids and like bring them into the fucking fold because they were like such a crazy warrior class that they were like losing like childbirthing age people. So they would go and steal white kids and like force white girls and like breed the shit out of them to like re-up their numbers to fight and shit. That's crazy.
How dark is that, huh? Would you
Yeah,
look at that?
dude.
I stopped recording again. No, I'm just kidding.
Nice. Perfect, dude. I couldn't get my spy balloon take off, and now I could do this. God damn.
No. Oh no, that's pretty sick though.
Yeah.
In both ways. That means in the sick that means cool, and the sick that is when you stop to actually think about it. Like, dear God, my child was not only kidnapped by the op, but raised to fight against me. Or no, the way you kind of put it was like more like being a baby machine. Either way.
Yeah.
Back
They
then,
would steal little white girls
with no epidurals or nothing, dude. Just cranking out babies out in the fucking plains, in the Great Plains.
Yeah. And then they would lose children, like, because they would migrate, and so it was like high weeds, because like there was no fucking landscaping back in the day, so like you'd be walking following buffalo, or just following, or just migrating, and kids would just get lost in the fucking weeds, and they'd be like, well, I'm not going back. So like, God damn, dude.
Yeah, like, are we really gonna turn this whole show around, risk the life of our entire family or crew, just to find what is very likely a dead kid by now?
Yeah. That's crazy, dude. That's fucking crazy.
Yep. Well, man, it's been another good episode. Sorry about the audio technicalities. Jesus Christ, fucking more than technical difficulties. But I think we got most of everything that we needed to talk about, even though we had to circle around a little bit and repeat ourselves. But yeah, man. Hey, what are you doing this weekend? Where are you going to be watching this fight from?
I'm probably gonna have to rewatch it because it is my wife's grandma's birthday.
Oh, right on. So she's just finding any excuse to not let you watch these fights.
Are you recording?
Yeah.
Well, it might be the last one, so I kind of have to go to this one. Kind of deal. It would be a dick to be like, I'm gonna go kick him with Kenny.
Yeah, I could see that. It's like, babe, there's fights every weekend.
Yeah, she's gonna tell me that. It's like, this is like probably the last time we'll get to see old grandma. So.
Oh dear. Well, man, I hope you enjoy that.
Why did you want to kick it? Fuck, we haven't hung out and watched fights in a long time.
I found chicken wings like on sale for
like. And your adobo chicken wings are like legendary, dude.
Yeah, for like Chua's. I'm gonna try and get Chua over here to make them. But yeah, dude, I found some chicken wings on sale for like 79 cents a pound, dude.
What? Where?
At the AC. And
of course.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you're raised.
Now they're back up to, I think I saw they were back up to like $2.99 a pound. So I got a bunch of packs. So it's chicken wings and fights at my place. Mike and Chew probably coming by. I was going to see if you wanted to come out, but
if I can, I will. Mm-hmm. I promise you, I will if I can.
Yeah, do it. No, by all means, dude. Go to that birthday party.
The final, yeah. Last swing at the piñata.
All love, man. Thank you again for joining me for another fun episode of the Fight
first
Plug.
time she listens to this shit.
I will. I'll cut that out.
Oh no! I mean, leave it in. It's funny. So.
All right, right on, man. If you thought that,
cut it. Cut it. No,
if you, the listener, thought that was funny as hell, then please like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell.
Should we be talking about taking scalps in this climate?
This political climate.
Yeah.
That's my blind spot, dude.
Yeah.
They're just trophies, man. All right, folks. Thanks for joining us again. Take care.
Also, points in my book for not getting colonized. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could have done something to stop it. I mean, you took a string of beats. But okay, I'm the one.
All right, good night. Bye.